Hello, my friends, and welcome to an episode of Noob Mama's LARP Lessons. Today, I'd really like to go over something that is common at LARPs, but that some people are just afraid to do, and I do not blame them at all because on the surface, it looks really intimidating. We, of course, are talking about full face makeup. Yes, I am talking about full color, full coverage, which, you know, even when I started LARPing, I looked at it and I said, oh my gosh, how can somebody do that? As it turns out, it's not so bad once you know some tricks. I'm gonna try and make this as straightforward and simple as possible so that it can be easily adapted to whatever LARP you attend if you ever wanted to try to do this. For this video, I'm going to be painting myself as a Sarkani, which are basically awesome dragon people at Eclipse LARP, where I am staff out of southern New Jersey. Now, to start, let's talk about the makeup itself. You want to get what's called a water-activated makeup cake, so it's going to look like this. This is Snazaroo brand, which I recommend. It's on the cheaper side, and you can find it at a craft store like Michael's, those kind of places. I mainly recommend Maron Paradise brand, and Ben Nye is so good too. They are sort of what I consider to be the top brands for this type of makeup. It's my go-to. I have the giant Maron palette too. What you'll also need is brushes. Here I have, honestly, this is a highlighting brush, but as long as you get a nice chunky brush like this, that's really what you need for your face and your body. You can also use sponges. I've just found that brushes get better coverage and they absorb the color better, so you'll have an easier time applying. We are still going to use sponges, but that will come later to add some scales to our dragon people, because I find sponges are a little easier for dabbing on detail. You'll also want to get some smaller brushes, so think like eyeshadow kind of brushes, you know, even tiny ones like this for detail. You can find brush sets on Amazon. You can even find them at the dollar store, to be honest. And you really only need a few if you're just starting out with a makeup set. What's also going to be helpful, and this is what adds our detail, instead of just having that one flat color, which is fine if you want to do that, but I'm going to show you how to really make it pop. So what you're going to want for that is a nice eyeshadow palette. This is good. It's all matte. It has so many different colors in it. This is exactly what you want. And make sure there's no glitter. I mean, you can get one with some glitter colors, but you want something that's simple, solid colors. And of course, make sure you have a clean face. I don't really put primer on as much as I used to, so we're not gonna do that, but it will help to clean your face. So to start, you want a little cup of water, just like this, and you're gonna dip your brush in there, but you also wanna squeeze out the excess water. See that? If the brush is too damp, it's going to make the paint really watery and it's just going to streak all over your face and drip around, and that's not what we're going for. So then you want to swirl it around in the color. You kind of want to make it this creamy consistency. Make sure it's really getting on the brush. That's a pretty good amount, so let's get started. There we go. Not too bad, right? You'll notice that I was dabbing a little bit here and there when I saw that there were some spots that weren't quite covered. And also it's for LARPing, so don't worry too much because it's probably gonna come off a tiny bit at some point. Now this is the really fun part. This will set you apart and really make the makeup stand out. We're gonna take our eyeshadow palette. Again, you don't have to buy a giant palette like this. If you know there's a certain color you're going to go for, so let's say this blue, or you're gonna do red, then you want to get a color that is both darker than your base coat and lighter than your base coat. So for this, we're gonna do a nice dark blue for our shading. There are some key spots we're gonna cover, and I'm gonna walk you through those. First, we are going to do beneath our cheekbones, because that is think of the places where you'd contour if you're familiar with makeup, but I'll walk you through those spots anyway, just so you have them in mind. And as some of you may know, a good hack to get your cheekbones to pop out so you know where you're going is to smile. So make sure you smile a little bit and your cheekbones will pop, so it makes it easier to apply the eyeshadow. Now we're going to frame the top of our face right under the hairline. And now along the bottom of the jawline here, right underneath. I also like to do the sides here just to make, you know, this pop out. So as you can see, we have some detail going. Woo! Exciting, right? And now the last place I like to hit is the sides of the nose because, again, it'll just make your features pop out more. It'll make the bridge of your nose pop out just a little bit more. And now before we move on to the highlighting aspect, this is important. Switch your brush. Have two different brushes for shading and highlighting. And now for the highlighting, we go with a lighter color than our base color, which for me is this blue right here, though I might end up putting a little bit of white eyeshadow in there too. Now you're basically gonna hit all the other spots. So you want to hit above your cheekbones rather than below this time. Yeah, I'm gonna switch to white. And now hit the tip of your nose, a little bit on the bridge, and go right underneath your eyebrows. One of the fun things that I like to do is imagine what color would this character blush in. So I think for someone with a light blue face, they might blush in purple. So we're gonna add a little bit of purple where someone would naturally apply blush. So you see, we finished the cheeks. The cheeks are basically filled out and they have all sorts of definition to them, which is so exciting. I'm also gonna add some purple to my eyelids because, you know, purple eyeshadow, why not? So what I did was purple, a darker purple, and now we're gonna do a light color on the inside of our eyes. So much definition! Here is yet another very fun part. Since we are playing a dragon person, we need some scales, of course. And the best way to do scales, no, not by freehand, though if you do that, all the power to you, I bow down to you. I don't have the patience, I must admit. Stencils! You can buy stencils on Amazon, I mean, probably elsewhere, but that's the quickest way to get them. These are actually cake decorating stencils. I got a pack of 9 with different patterns and such. It works great. For this, like I said earlier, we're gonna use a sponge because I find it easier to dab sponges and not have the wet paint go everywhere. It might make sense when you try it. So we are going to take our stencil and let's start with our forehead because that should be, I would say, the most prominent place for scales probably. And let's see how this goes. Scales! And you'll notice that with the stencil, it almost creates this like fade effect, so they sort of fade into your skin and look more natural, in my opinion. But again, people who do them free-handed and very detailed, I mean, bless. Let's keep going. You'll notice I'm doing more of a dab effect with the sponge. I think that's the best way to get it on there without it streaking and getting all messy. Look at that, we have so many scales. In my opinion, this is kind of as far as you need to go. You can go a little crazier, maybe add some detail by outlining the scales themselves with a really tiny brush. I'm not going to do that for now. We are just focusing on the basics to get a good look together with minimal effort. This is where I like to add some fun detail. So I'm a freckly person by nature, as you can maybe see from my arms. I don't know, in the summer they really come out on my face. So whenever possible, I do like to add freckles, because I'm like, well, I'm freckly, and so why not have my characters be freckly too? For this, of course, our freckles would probably be dark blue, and the best way to add little details, like whether you're doing freckles or maybe you have to draw runes on your face or some kind of pattern, liquid eyeliner is your best friend. I'm telling you, if you're looking for LARP makeup that you're not going to use every day, check the dollar store first. You might be surprised by what you find. And look at that, we got some freckles. We are a dragon with freckles. My hands are so blue. So now one of our final steps, you don't need to do this, but I'm gonna do it because I am an extra person, is regular makeup. So what I'm gonna do is go off camera super quick and put on some mascara, some eyeliner, and some lipstick. I'll be right back. Okay, I lied. I also came back with a wig because wigs are super fun. You'll notice I also made my eyebrows a little darker. I took some black eyeshadow and went over my eyebrows with a shadow brush, because before this, my eyebrows were sort of just washed over. You couldn't even see them. So typically you want to also go over your eyebrows in some kind of shadow that matches your hair color that you're using. So in this case, I made them darker because the roots of this wig are very dark. Just a couple more things before we're done. I recommend getting setting spray. It is a LARPer's best friend when you're wearing makeup at a LARP. It'll look something like this. This is e.l.f. brand. You can find it at any sort of pharmacy, Target, what have you, in the makeup section. Just give it a spray, and that will help seal your makeup, keep it in place. You're probably still gonna sweat it off a little bit, you're gonna need touch-ups, but you know what? It will help. And of course the final piece to this, which is, again, the Sarkani dragon people from Eclipse LARP, we need some horns. I personally have these tiny little horns that I made out of makeup sponges. That will probably be another video for another day. Super easy to make, and they're really cute, and they go right on your forehead. But you can also get the kind of horns that go on top of your hair, you know, with the elastic, whatever works for you. So we're taking some spirit gum, another LARPer best friend, and once you put it on, you want to do this. You want to tap it, because that's what's going to make it nice and tacky, so that whatever you're putting on will stick better. Now it's all sticky. Finished! Yay! You'll see I put a little costume piece on to really give a full effect. It's just a black hood with things on the side. But that's it! That's why I did this video. I want to assure people that you absolutely can do full face makeup at a LARP even if you're not confident in your makeup ability. This is meant to be a tutorial for you to just kind of go through, get the basics. I'm sure I'm missing some stuff. I'm not a professional by any means, but I really hope this helped at least one person. And of course, when it comes to taking off the makeup, I should say that you're probably gonna get some on your garb or your clothes, and that's okay as long as you use the water-activated makeup, it will wash out. I have found that, of course, just hopping in the shower and washing it out will get it off the fastest, and it's gonna make it look like your skin is melting into the shower in a very strange color, so that's always fun. But when you're at the LARP itself, of course, makeup wipes are wonderful. I found that Neutrogena brand is like super good at taking off this kind of makeup. Baby wipes are kind of effective. I know that's sort of the common go-to in NPC. I even always have baby wipes on me when I pack my LARP stuff, but they're a little less effective. What's also super helpful, and I will link them, those cloth makeup removers. They're washable ones. They are incredible. It's just like a piece of soft cloth and you get it wet and you just wipe. I mean, it's crazy how well it works, actually. So I hope this was helpful. If it gave you any insight or you got something from this that is gonna help you in your journey to doing makeup at a LARP, give me a like, a comment, a subscription, whatever you wanna do, and keep following for more LARP lessons by Noob Mama. Thanks, friends, goodbye!